Presented by the Sono Collections, John Kamal from 95.9 The Fox. And I've got Matt and Scotty from Host of Ghosts playing at Park City Music Hall this Friday and a bunch of other places. How are you?
Great, man.
Good.
No complaints. Really
Yeah,
excited
dude.
to get back on the road.
It's good to have you guys. Speaking of the road, Matt, the last time that we spoke on here, you were getting ready to move to Philadelphia, and you've done that since then.
Oh yeah.
But I gotta admit, it doesn't feel like you have at all. Like I feel like that's lies, and that you just haven't left Black Rock whatsoever.
I managed to get to the right place at the right time. What I mean? Like,
Okay.
if I'm around the area from doing gigs and stuff, I try to stick around for a couple days if there's, if one of my friends are playing, there's a fun show going on. So yeah, I feel you. It doesn't feel like I mean, I've been here for almost, I'm in Philadelphia right now, and I've been here for almost 2 years. And it's funny. It really doesn't feel like it at all.
I know, man. Well, listen, I mean, it's good to still have you out and about and playing shows and everything like that. I got to see you on 420. You were at PCMH doing the acoustic
That
thing.
was fun.
I got to see TalkPeck Sound System, which I want to talk a little bit about in general. But if you're not familiar with Matt and Scotty, these guys play in a ton of great projects. Scotty, you're in Ghostlight, which a lot of people may know. Great band. So how did you guys start playing together?
Oh, okay. So
Friend of a friend.
yeah,
It's always a friend of a
it's
friend.
always a friend of a friend, right? My happened to be my best friend, my buddy Derek Havland. He kind of like set us up together to do. It was before Talkback Sound System. It was. We did
It
a couple
was a
shows
Matt
before that.
McNulty and Friends show
Yeah,
at
at the Acoustic Pub.
at the time, the
Yeah.
acoustic.
The now Park City former.
Yep.
And yeah, it was probably just a cover show or whatever, like it always is. But I think eventually it kind of it evolved. I think you were the first drummer in Talkback.
Was I?
I think you and Johnny Durkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was like the first show.
That was like, yeah, well, it was okay. So that was the first show, and it's funny because the idea of Talkback Sound System was just like I don't know, I was high probably, and I was just like,
Well, that's see, because I want to talk about that for a minute because it's a brilliant idea, and for people who are listening and don't know, TalkPeck Sound System. If you say it slowly, the name explains itself. It's the Talking Heads, Wolfpack, and LCD Sound System. It's just those three bands.
right.
You always have such an incredible group of musicians up there. You got great press for playing a great show at Park City a couple of I guess it was like 2 months ago now.
Yep.
Tell me, tell me more. Continue on that train of thought. How did that whole thing come about?
So it came, like I said, it was just this like high idea that I didn't think. I guess it was just like LCD Sound System and the Talking Heads to me. Clearly, LCD was influenced by the Talking Heads, and at the time I was listening to a lot of both, and I was just like, this would be cool if you took these two and kind of put them together because they're kind of in the same vein of that new wavy electro poppy kind of thing, and with great songwriting. And then like Wolfpack kind of had like the music nerd kind of thing going for it, which I really dug, and then a lot of their tunes, they kind of lend themselves to like that funk, of like the Talking Heads kind of feel, and I think that just kind of worked that way.
Well, there's so much creativity in those three bands, and I don't know LCD Sound System as well as I know the other two, but I mean, it's such a wide open, wacky sound that you would think comes from a very free form place in terms of writing, but they're actually very highly structured. They're actually very highly structured bands. I mean, David Byrne and I can't remember the guy from Wolfpack's name now.
Jesus,
it's the main dude's name. I know, yeah, I can't remember, but they both have these very central figures in them. And I find that interesting because you seem to, Matt, be the connecting piece between all of these various projects that you play with. I mean, is there a correlation there? Is there like maybe like part of what attracted you to that music in the first place?
Well, I think what attracted me to, well, first, like the LCD Sound System stuff was it did have this like pop sensibility to it that I was never really used to playing. And I do a lot of jam band stuff clearly. And it was like, it was a nice thing to take me out of like my comfort zone and try something new. And also try a different persona where like I don't play guitar, where I have somebody like Tim Palmieri or like Barber, and it's like I don't need to worry about that so much, and I can focus on a different aspect of my musicality, and like that's kind of where I really get off with Talkback Sound System. I don't ever play guitar except for some rhythm, you know, and I kind of just take on that front person role. And I think that, you know, people who've seen me a lot, you know, they see me do that and they're just like, whoa, that's a totally different thing. Like we've never seen him do that.
What's
So
that like? Is that nerve-wracking to get into, to like really embrace the front man thing and put the guitar down? Because it's
you
easy
know
to
me
hide behind the guitar.
well, you know me that I'll probably have like a couple vodka sodas before I have to do that, you know?
Right. I
Just
mean,
to kind of
that's mandatory.
bring it down, you know, just kind of like get out of my head a little bit. But like, it's actually the last time we did it was the most fun. Like
Yeah.
I really felt, because the crowd at Park City was just so big and so great and so gracious. I just like kind of walked out there and I was like, it was reassuring. I was like, this is what I do. This is what I'm doing. You know, it was good. It was great to see.
I got you. And you know what? I think I lost my mic for a second. But Scotty, what attracted you to playing these projects? What got you into the mix?
I don't do a lot of cover stuff, and it's like most of the projects that I've been in, I've been fortunate that there's just like a great catalog behind them. So I'm really focused on doing that. And in some of the projects that I've been in the past, there have been like a cover or two here or there, maybe like a cover a show. So it's definitely like a fun, you know, good excuse to learn a bunch of other people's music and have fun, and also just to get to play with other musicians. You know, I'm very fortunate to have, you know, 4 other talented musicians in my current band, Ghostlight. But you know, it's nice to play with other people and to kind of just have fun. And as far as the idea of improvisation, which is really why like I fall into a lot of the projects I'm in.
Yeah.
It's nice in these kinds of settings because it's like a whole other level of like removing the safety net, because there's not really a lot of rehearsal. You really only have like an extended sound check to go over stuff. And it's a lot of like walking on like a tightrope at times. And I kind of get off on that sort of feeling in a strange way.
Spontaneity of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what he just, you know, what he just said about, you know, only having necessarily a sound check to do music that, you know, I choose the Phish thing, you know, a lot because it's like, you know, me and my friends, this is what we know. It's like what we grew up like. I know Scotty, a lot of these drum parts are just like ingrained in his head, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's never played the song live, but it's almost like boom, I could just play that because that's what I can hear, you know. And it's really cool, and I'm actually really excited to have Scotty. I think this is the first time you've done a Hosted Ghost thing with us, and I'm so excited to have him and Chris DeAngelis just like as the rhythm section for the whole weekend. It's just that's like,
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's monstrous all by itself right there. I didn't know you had Chris DeAngelis playing bass on Friday too.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
so shout out to Chris. What's up, man? He is my favorite, hands down my favorite, like, you know, to have playing bass in this Hosted Ghost thing, because what you don't know is that when he plays, he can do all the parts and do all that stuff, and he obviously has his own style and twisted things, but when he starts singing, he can sound just like Mike Gordon. And I was like, it blew my mind the first time, and I was like, wow. I was like, not only did you just nail it, but you sounded like, if I closed my eyes, I'm like, it could have been Mike.
Wow.
So you'll see, it's pretty funny.
I mean, well, that's all. Now I need to hear Chris's Mike Gordon impression. But you know, tell me about playing music. Tell me about playing specifically Phish music, because Scotty, you brought this up a second ago, just how, you know, like the idea of improvisation within a song is something that attracts you to the music that you play. Matt, obviously you're the same way. But you know, I was talking to Terrapin, who are now called Red Matter, I should say. I was talking to Red Matter about this a couple of months ago, where there's so many Dead cover bands because you can kind of do whatever you want to with a Dead song and no one's going to get mad at you. You can play it reggae, you can play it up tempo, you can play it down tempo, you can mess with a little bit. If you do that with a Van Halen song and you're a Van Halen tribute band, people are going to murder you. Like they're going to want to kill you. Where does Phish fall on that spectrum? How much freedom do you feel like you have with the tunes? And, you know, how much of your own thing can you put into it?
Well, okay. So check it out. So, I like to, obviously I'm not a note for note guy. I never have been. I kind of, you know, if you're playing something composed, yeah, obviously get that note for note, you know what I mean? But like,
Sure.
I getting the essence of the songs, is really what it's all about, and getting the feeling across. But with Phish, you should probably play them the way they're supposed to be played. Yeah.
It just depends on, I think, the time period. Like anything.
That's true.
Anything 80s and early 90s for the most part, and like really early 90s, but like the late 80s stuff is all like thoroughly composed stuff. And then there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Junta is like that's hard to put your own spin on that.
Yeah. No, the only way you're putting your own spin on that is in the jam section that they've created for you, essentially,
right,
for themselves or whatever. But the newer stuff, it's definitely a little more open to interpretation, being that like, a song like Undermine is essentially just a 1-4-5 blues. You know what I mean? So however you want to do that, is I've seen, Residual Groove plays that tune. What's up, Kieran? And they do a really great job of that too, but they don't do it just the way the Phish does it. You know what I mean? So clearly they open their interpretation. With Host of Ghosts, I like to do pretty as close as I can get to it. With the jams, and that's all us.
Okay.
Whatever
wow,
happens in the jam space, that is, maybe I like to, rip off a couple licks for try here and there. You know what I mean? Who doesn't?
Gotcha.
But that's to keep the essence of the music and where it's coming from. And like pull off some of his tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was going to ask what are the challenges between switching from TalkBack sound system and going to Hosts of Ghosts. But I mean, from your answer, it sounds like it's relatively similar, right? I mean, you're tackling compositions and you're trying to do it fairly organically. Would that be fair to say? Sorry, not organically. Accurately.
Well, I think that to me, I actually view it as two completely different things. TalkBack sound system is like 9 to 10 people in a band. Right. Where it's like everyone, the thing about the essence of that music is like everyone's kind of playing one thing, and then there's a build between like what's every note is pretty much calculated in the composition of those tunes when we do them. Like the LCD sound system songs, like basically it's one guy doing one thing for 6 or 7 minutes,
Yeah.
But that's what keeps the flow. That's what builds the intensity of the music. With the Host of Ghost thing, it's just like 4 dudes. It's like 4 dudes, just kind of like
it's like the band.
Literally, it's the communication between 4 people is so much. It's like you're in a crowded room. It's so much easier to talk to 4 people than it is to talk to 9 or 10.
That is true. You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up because it is sometimes easier to talk to 4 people at the same time instead of just 3. Because we have a special guest joining us right now. What's up, Doughy Joey?
I was calling because I had some like homework help I needed. Now I'm just embarrassed that I'm assuming live stream now. What is this?
I mean, it's okay, dude. We're talking calculus over here. What tell me what I can help you with.
I've just been getting pumped up for Matt's show at Park City this weekend, baby. I've been listening to all my favorite ghost tales. It's so cool for you to do like a Halloween tribute, not even close to Halloween, and go on tour with it. You're nuts, man.
On Friday the 13th. It should be. There should be more. There should be more. Did I just tell you that it's Friday the 13th? You didn't know that?
I don't know what day of the week it is, man.
You're called Hosts of fucking Ghosts. It's Friday the 13th. Come on, baby.
Oh, man, what a drop ball.
I was so surprised you guys hadn't put it in the marketing, to be honest with you. Although, to be fair, I didn't realize it was Friday the 13th until someone said it today.
This thing is in front of my face right now.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, hold on. Let me get rid of that.
Yeah, I'm Matt's like I've got like a pirate kind of vibe going right now.
It's the guy I invited on the show, and I've got his own face. I've got his own face.
Hey, Scotty, by the way, nice to see you, man. Been a while.
Joey, how you doing?
Doing all right,
Joey, I love the headband, brother.
Getting ready to go to John Torres's summer camp this weekend on Sunday. Yeah.
What is that?
Got my headband and my wristband on,
Oh my God. When are we doing the live band, Joey?
No, you let me know, man. Let's talk about Host of Ghosts, though. What's your favorite ghost story? Like, what kind of horror movie stuff are you guys going to be covering?
Goosebumps. Like most of them, we're actually going to put the soundtrack.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's a throwback, man. That's a good one.
Actually, the thing that scared me the most when I was a kid was definitely Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, I never watched
that Jeff Enborg actually listens to Unsolved Mysteries before he goes to sleep to help him calm himself into slumber.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if that was true.
Joey,
you know what?
Joey,
I
listen,
feel like
you can't come on my show with fake news. Everyone knows that Jeff Enborg isn't real. All right, everybody knows.
I'm so glad that we've got to the point in the podcast that where Jeff Enborg is is being mentioned. I just want to mention that one time I slept at Jeff Enborg's house, and he actually tucked me in, and we watched Forensic Files, and it was kind of forced, but which was fine. But again, Jeff Enborg isn't real, so that never happened.
Right. That was a dream.
He's like the boogie. Who's your favorite ghost? Jeff Enborg. You know, that's
Jeff Enborg in white cowboy boots,
spray painted cowboy boots.
in white spray painted cowboy.
Do you regret and do you regret and send me the link to the show yet, John?
I'm so happy about
everyone
it.
At home wants to know.
I'm so happy about it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's taken a hard left turn, but that's okay.
Matt, are you in Connecticut yet? Where are you?
No, I'm in this dark basement in Philadelphia.
I mean, we can turn on switch
nice.
on that light if you want.
Very Philadelphia.
Lighting would be
No, I
better.
like our light.
There was a glare coming from the light bulb above his head, so I figured
That's just Matt's flow. It's natural, and no matter how many basements you put
We're
him
in a bomb shelter in Center City.
This
It's
is
fine.
my favorite ghost story.
It does look
The
like
one
a
in the
bomb
basement.
shelter, though, and it looks like a great place to tell a ghost story, though.
You
That
look
is
like
true.
you're gonna start
This
with
is
the
what we work on our
flashlight.
ghost
Are you
stories.
afraid of the dark? You know.
Well, this is a fun. This is a big weekend. This is why I wanted Doughy Joey to come on here, because Host of Ghosts, first of all, has got like a huge run up to this show. You're playing, Matt. You're playing with Jordan G and Greco at Don Memos in Westport on Thursday, and then of course we've got the show at Park City on Friday.
That's right.
And then Saturday, if you're in Stowe, Vermont, or if you're planning on being in Stowe, Vermont, you check out Host of Ghosts at Zen Barn as well. But there's also, of course, the option of Elephant Proof, also at Park City Music Hall.
We're going on ghost tour, baby.
Yeah. Ghosts and elephants, man. What a weekend.
I mean, that's it, dude. Now we just need some lions and tigers and bears.
That's
Yeah,
true.
there you go.
Yeah, Elephant Proof's pretty rad. So everyone out there, if you haven't seen them, check it out. It's pretty
Yes,
cool.
please. Yes,
What up,
please,
Ben?
indeed.
Yeah, what up, Ben?
And then
You
Doughy.
like a Fresca server on tour, bro? I'll come to the Zen Barn and just throwing out.
You know, actually, I actually put Fresca in our rider. So if there isn't Fresca,
I'm like the cooler. I'll come in there Roadhouse style. Let them know, you know, fill out that rider list, baby.
Oh my God. Yeah, Eric DiBerdino, if you're out there and there isn't Fresca, the show's canceled.
That's right.
He hides all the Fresca in his stash. That's where it lives.
I'm gonna show up early and I'm gonna open every Fresca and I'm just gonna lick the top
that's
of
when they
them.
go flat, brother. You
real
don't want to do
legit.
that.
I didn't even realize there's a comment section here.
Is there a comment? Are people commenting? No, we don't have any comments.
We don't have any yet. How? I don't know how that's possible, because usually, you know why it's possible is because usually it's mostly just Doughy Joey sending pizza.
I'm here, so I can't harass you in the comments.
That's right. Sending pizza emojis.
Good move on your end. Well, way to solve the problem.
I know. I screwed up. I literally screwed my own engagement up by having you on
Telling
this
me
show.
not to comment or tune in would have been way worse than just having me on the show.
Well, we can just have
for
you
sure.
ask us questions since
there
you're
you go.
here.
Yeah, Joey.
You should, Doughy. Take over the interview for a minute.
Okay. Well, we asked the favorite ghost stories, right?
Hold on. I have one request before you do this. Can you get one of your cats?
Yeah, dude. Of course, we get Bubs. Where's Bubs at? Bubs.
Bobs. This is the most fun. If anybody's watching this and has no idea what's going on, it's okay.
That's why
it's
no one's
awesome.
commenting, because they're like, "What the hell is actually happening on my screen right now?"
I feel like anytime I turn on a podcast and you're on it, Doughy, though, it's like when I come across The Godfather on AMC, I got to watch at least 15 minutes.
Anyway, now you can continue, Joey. If you have
Yeah,
any-
so Bubs wants to know. She says, if you were cats, what kind of cats would you be? I could honestly, Matt, you're like a slick cat. You know, you're a cat that's got the world under its feet. Like, you don't need a home. You're like a stray, but if anyone was to run up on you, they're like, I couldn't provide more for this cat than the world already is.
Did you ever see the Aristocats? Did you ever see the Aristocats? You know, like that scene at the end where they go to the house and there's all the jazz cats?
Is that
like
he's
that?
a jazz cat for sure.
McNulty's the one playing the double bass with the cool shades on.
Okay.
And like that's that one.
I
think.
actually sample.
Yeah.
I sample the Aristocats all the time in my DJ sets.
Is that true?
As well you should.
Because they have a drunk uncle. I'm letting Bubs go because cats do what they want to do. I can't keep her tamed anymore. You know.
That's very true.
Yeah, no, I sample that stuff often. But yeah, Scott, how about you? You know, what kind of cat would you be? Since you wanted me to ask a question.
First, I thought you were going with a breed, and I'm not really a cat person, so
No, we're going full anthropomorphic
chill cat.
nonsense.
I'm not
right
one
now.
of those cats that runs up on you and just starts swatting at you randomly. Because cats like to do that shit. That's why I'm more of a dog person. I don't need to be walking.
Do you have any
all of a
pets?
sudden
Do you have any pets yourself?
like out of nowhere,
Is he-
it's just like, you know, like
True.
cats do that stuff.
Do you have a dog? Is that what you're saying? You're a dog person?
Yeah, I'm more of the chill dog who's just kind of, up for whatever.
Bring your pets to Park City before the show starts on Friday, so Matt can.
Wait, are you DJing on Friday?
Are you asking me to right now?
I mean, I'm supposed. I mean, we got to keep this party going somehow, like we do every time.
Yeah, dude, hit me up. Let me know. I'm around. I'll
get
be
Luke
there.
Beeman
I'm
tonight.
coming regardless.
Oh, Luke Beeman.
We should get Luke Beeman. Luke Beeman, if you're out there,
If you're listening to this right now,
listening to this, your membership in
You
the
gotta
McNulty
call-
fan
yeah, you
club
need to
is
call him.
on the line.
Oh,
You
yep,
come to
that's
Matt
it.
McNulty Music Hall.
There's always
Friday night.
replay too. There's always replay. Luke Beeman, send a message in the DM, make a
Right.
comment.
I'm gonna sled right to that kid's DMs, tell him he needs to be there. But yeah, so anyway, we're super excited for this show on Friday. We have an actual run of shows coming up for the first time with this band, which is really exciting for me. We have Donnie from Eggy joining us on Friday night, who is just always a joy to play with.
So let's do a head count right here. We've got you two guys. We've got Matt. We got Scotty. We've got Chris DeAngelis.
Yeah,
And we've got Donnie.
Yep.
And you said this is a gang of 4. So is that the squad right there?
So that's the squad so every night has a different keyboard player actually. So that's the squad for Park City.
Okay.
And then for Zen Barn, we have this, my buddy Shoheen O'Howdy, which is love your name, brother. He plays keys in Uncle Ebenezer, which is another Phish cover band, which is like great. They do all the Brooklyn Bowl for kids stuff like that, and obviously a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's how people might know them.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Playhouse.
Rock and Roll Playhouse.
Shout out to Rock and Roll Playhouse.
That's right. And then on Sunday, we're actually doing billed as like a special Sunday show. But we have Corey Scheckman from the New Motif who plays saxophone. So
I love those guys.
So he's going to be with us. And then we're also going to have Jeremy Kaplan from Dogs in a Pile. He's going to be playing with us. He's on keyboards. So
shout out to Dogs in a Pile.
shout out to Dogs.
Yeah,
in a
those guys rip,
That's
man.
great.
They're great. They're great. Yo, I'm actually gonna split though, so I'm gonna go get in line at Park City for Friday's show now.
That's good.
Do that.
That's good. You
Becky's
should
got
do
the
that.
camping grill, the tent, the squatty potty, bear spray.
I'm going to come by there and I'm going to buy a $3 grilled cheese.
Yeah, we got grilled cheeses on deck, so we'll
Yeah.
see you guys in line on Friday. All right, much love, John. Thanks for messing up and having me on.
Thanks for stopping by, bro.
Later,
We'll see if Matt still talks to you after that one. Scotty, peace out.
Later, Joey.
And make sure you show up on Friday afternoon and you can get your own personalized grilled cheese cooked on a radiator from Doughy Joey.
Joey from the back. There'll be a whole lot scene in the back. So
There'll be a whole lot scene in the back. Dude, watch a lot scene pop up. That would not surprise me at all.
it would be a little much, but yeah, I can see it.
It would.
Yeah. That's
So
how you know you made it.
That's right. That's right. So how do you put all of these bands together? We've talked, there's been a lot of name dropping this evening.
Well,
and there's a ton of talent. How do you meet all of these cats?
Okay, so the beginning it was getting hooked up through friends of friends, like he was saying. I am
Right.
a lot. Yeah, Joey, you are the lot.
Always friends.
It's always friends of friends connecting people. Like I think you'd play great with this guy. I think you guys would get whatever that whole thing. And
Yeah.
now over the years that I've created great friendships with guys like Scotty, it's just like a phone call away. If are you busy? Are you free? And usually that's how it works out. And if all the stars align, then we all end up doing the gigs together. This particular hosted ghost run was like a little funny to kind of put together when I realized I was going to have essentially different members every night. But that's kind of makes it exciting. It kind of switches things up a little bit, and someone else brings a different voice, and that's always fun.
Does that turn practice into a nightmare though?
What practice?
Right. Okay. Right. That's the correct answer.
We're here practicing.
We're here
to make sure
practicing.
that
It's
we
like-
are- at least we are connected in this. But
The thing is, I've also done this a whole bunch of times with the same people, and Donnie and Chris have done the hosted ghost thing with me, more recently. And
So I'm the only new one, really.
Scotty is the only new one, not new with friend, but new to this project. And yeah, man. So we actually have another show that's not announced yet. That is coming up on June 11th, in South Norwalk. So keep your eyes out for that.
I know that one.
Yeah,
I know that one. Yeah.
And then
that's okay. We will say no words, but yes.
yeah. We'll save it for another one. And then I have another one that's actually going to be Industry City in Brooklyn on June 23rd.
Nice.
So keep an eye out for that one too. That's a really, really cool venue. If you check out Industry City in Brooklyn, if you've ever seen it.
And these are all going to be Host of Ghost shows.
These are Host of Ghost shows.
That's
when, right.
When can we expect to see Talkback Sound System next?
We're looking at the summer.
Okay.
Summertime. It's definitely in Connecticut in the summertime. There's other things around, but they'll be popping up.
I got you.
I'm not at liberty to say at the current moment.
That's fair. That's fair. I want to hit you with a couple of jam oriented questions as we end, because I had so much fun talking with you about this last time. So we've talked a lot about how these projects are largely compositional, but there's always a jam section in there where you're able to express yourself. But any band can play over a chord progression. How does a band take a jam to the next level?
Scott, you take this one first.
It's all about listening and putting ego aside and doing what fits the song and not your own personal agenda. In fact, don't have any personal agenda or any expectations going into it. Just have your ears and your eyes open, your ears open to be listening to what everyone else is doing, and your eyes open in case something's got to change and people are trying to get your attention and they're not able to do it musically. But otherwise, yeah, it's all about listening.
Yeah, I'd have to fully agree with that. And it's also too, it's cool when you're having those conversation within a jam, with the other people. And Scotty, he just said something about keeping your eyes open and closed, but there's definitely those moments where that you can have your eyes closed.
Oh yeah,
and that you're in some kind of space that really requires that level of thought, I suppose. I like to go. I'm from the school of try not to think so much. When you get into the middle of summer, sometimes I like to have a destination. Sometimes I already have a preset, when I start a jam that just hangs out on the one chord, which is just the key, basically the key of the song, Bathtub Gin. When you go into the jam, they're just kind of hanging on the one chord, which is the C, right? So that's a great building point to make a chord progression, and that's kind of where you kind of noodle it out together to get to this space where everyone's agreed, and now you're gonna go from there, and that's how the conversation is gonna build. And that's kind of it's literally just talking to each other, and with your instruments, and sometimes if people, sometimes it's why you can tell people aren't getting along. There's tension. It's it just says you can just read the whole thing.
Sometimes that's good.
Sometimes it is good. That's very true.
I've had some very angry shows before.
But it's get it all out though. You know what I mean? It's a lot of. I feel like jamming too, minus having the crowd. If you're just playing to nobody in a jam band, that's just kind of you're going through the motions. It's when there's actual you got a crowd in front of you, and it's just kind of you're actually feeling the energy from people is a real thing. You got to imagine, Phish has been doing this for 30 years in arenas, and it's I can only imagine what that feels like,
Feedback loop.
Yeah. It's feedback loop.
Energy when you get to play in front of that many people, that the music is feeding the audience and the audience is feeding the band, and
it's just a symbiotic relationship.
Right. Well, and it's funny because so many people like to have fun with that, have to have fun with that statement, but it is true. It's 100% true.
Yeah,
it's why live recordings have always been my favorite.
Mine too. And I also love I really enjoy the falling flat on your face aspect of things too. Honestly, I do, because, and if you ever seen me on stage, man, and if something has train wrecked, what's going to happen with me? I'm probably just going to laugh because maybe it's a nervous laugh, but that's truly how I feel. It's it's all you can do. Right. And it's that moment in time has just passed, and and you can't stop, that's the other thing too.
And it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, don't take yourself too serious. That's the other aspect of improvisation.
Yeah,
I 100% agree.
So I gotta pull back my original question. The one that I just love talking to you about so much. Is Led Zeppelin a jam band?
Oh,
Because you said you evolved your answer on this.
I
Is
did
Led
evolve my-
Zeppelin a jam band?
This is, my
Scotty,
true-
for some context,
No,
I
why
really
don't
I gave
why
Matt
doesn't Scotty answer first?
I gave Matt a hard time about that, and actually, yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. What do you think, Scotty? Is Zeppelin a jam band?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you look at where like the concept of it comes from, what, jazz, which comes from the blues and
Right.
from gospel and from a whole slew, a whole melting pot. That's what's like so important about New Orleans and Jazz Fest, what's happened or just finished, I guess. But that whole concept is, it all comes and stems from the blues. So, and all that Zeppelin's trying to do is like electrify blues, and especially like old Delta blues, and like bring that into that new electric realm that we call rock and roll. So, yeah, I feel like there's a bunch of bands from that time period. I mean, obviously the Dead gets talked about a lot, but like the Allman Brothers as well, the
They were big,
band, like
yeah.
they're all jam bands. I mean, it's almost like a taboo word to say. I feel like jam band. It's like a bad thing.
It's
kinda.
it's 100% a taboo thing to say, which is why. So when I asked Matt this question 2 years ago, I would say like that I've always called Zeppelin a jam band, and people would get very upset with me, especially people like who work at the rock station that I work
like
at.
String Cheese Incident's a jam band and Led Zeppelin. It's like there's like,
exactly.
no, it's like those are the two ends of the spectrum. I feel like
And you brought up the Dead and the Allman Brothers, who are obvious candidates. The Dead in particular is just celebrated. You could even say certain, maybe not invented, but certainly defined that genre. But with Zeppelin, people get very upset. So Matt, tell me all about it.
Okay. All right. So I think now that there's been some more light shed over the past year and a half this question has been lingering in my mind. Sure, Led Zeppelin's a jam band. But I think Scotty said it right, where it is all rooted in jazz and blues, and they're just trying to electrify that. And I think that what I said last time still stands true. Is like they picked their moments more than they were spontaneous. Like
yeah, and that's 100% fair.
And that I think I that's the part of my answer that doesn't change, I guess, is that in my personal opinion, a jam band is you can at any point in time take a part of a song and just kind of go somewhere, do something with it. I feel like Led Zeppelin, it was like Dazed and Confused, and like they had their jams. Dazed and Confused was definitely a half hour long. You know what I mean? But like it had its like psychedelic purpose, at their concerts, so as far as jamming and taking something from nothing, I'm not sure that that's what they were doing.
Well, I think that's the important thing, though, is the taking something from nothing, like soloing over a song. Like, sure, that's improvising and but it's really soloing.
Yes.
But
over a chord progression.
But that's what I mean. Like soloing over a chord progression, I don't think necessarily makes you a jam band. But I think that's why Led Zeppelin falls in that category, is that there were extended sections of certain songs, at least, where they would go out, and it's not like it's still Dazed and Confused or it's still Moby Dick or whatever. It's something completely new.
Whole lot of love. There's a 20-minute guy on How the West Was Won, and it's wacky. It gets real wacky.
That's what I mean. So yeah, 100%.
All right. Maybe my mind can be changed.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But they're also a metal band. Like, they're the precursor to metal.
That's also true.
They're kind of the precursor to a lot of stuff.
And that was what Matt said too.
See, that's the one. So it's like, and it's really funny. Now I remember saying that, and I remember where I heard that, and it was like VH1 behind the music when I was in like middle school or something like that on like Led Zeppelin. And it was like, I don't know, some like 80s hair metal guy was like, man, like Led Zeppelin was the first metal band, man. Like, they were like, that's it, man. Like,
It's fair. It's true. I mean, with certain songs, again, though, picking their moments on certain songs. No one's going to call Going to California a metal song.
No, it's not.
But
it's actually more of a jam band song.
But you've got to call it. Well, I mean, it honestly, it's really a folk song. It is part of the genius of that band. But I don't know. I could wax poetic about that all day. But I loved your answer last time, and I loved your answer this time, Scotty. You as well. So thank you for humoring me on this. What can to wrap this up? What can people expect this Friday, Bridgeport, Fairfield Avenue at Park City Music Hall from your project, Host of Ghosts?
Fun with a big F. Fun, a lot of
I think
dancing.
it's actually a
It's a PH. See, I wasn't gonna go there, but we can go there. Fun with a PH. We can deal with that.
That's
no,
well
but
done.
seriously, like a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite things to do with some of my favorite people to play with, and it's my favorite music ever. So it's just fun. And I really hope to see so many of you beautiful people and your beautiful faces out there, which I'm sure I will.
And it is, man. It's always a good time watching you play, dude. It's always a good time hanging out at Park City.
Always.
And we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a great weekend full of some great music. Thank you guys so much for sitting down with me tonight. This was a lot of fun.
Can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely, man. Very soon. Hang out for a sec after I end the live feed. You can check out Host of Ghosts Live, Park City Music Hall, this Friday the 13th, which should have been in more marketing.
Really gonna change things.
I mean,
Really shit the bed on that one.
and you can listen to an hour of local music every Sunday night at 9 p.m. on 95.9 The Fox, 95.9 FM, or 959thefox.com if you don't live in Fairfield County. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Matt and Scotty.